How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to Talking Walls. Welcome back to a brand new transfer news and rumours video. The transfer window is now officially shut, but I thought I'd do one last video for the winter window, just doing a recap of the deadline day action and obviously anything else that happened across the weekend. Really, as always, guys, be sure to hit the like button down below, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and I really do appreciate all your support over the transfer window. As always, although it wasn't busy as for Wolves, it was busy with you guys clicking our videos, hitting the like button, commenting, and obviously you guys that popped in during our deadline day live stream as well, so really do appreciate it. But we're going to jump straight in. One of the rumours, I believe, that came out on Saturday evening was that Wolves was set to make a bid for Boubacar Traoré, who's a defensive midfielder currently playing in France for Metz. The deal was in and around £8 million, which was reported. It sounded like this one did have a little bit of truth in it, to be honest, but it may well be one now that Wolves will leave until the summer. There were talks that Metz wanted a little bit more money. They weren't too keen to sell during the January transfer window, and that they were possibly looking for a loan back to the club. So at the moment that deal didn't happen, but it wouldn't surprise me to see if this one pops up once again during the summer. One that popped up during a deadline day as well, that Wolves reportedly offered around €6 million for Partizan striker Marko Milovanovic. Hopefully I've pronounced that correctly. Marko Milovanovic, who's a young striker currently in Serbia. Not quite fully broken into the Partizan first team yet. Played a couple of games in Europe for them, though. They got a really decent record for their youth system at the moment. I don't think Wolves were alone on this, so I believe Ajax, Anderlecht, we're also in for him. I read up on it a little bit more today. Apparently Newcastle had offered about double the price that Wolves had offered. So nothing came of this. Nothing came to fruition. I don't know if it was rejected or what's happened there. If a move came to fruition, I believe he would have been loaned back to Partizan for the rest of the season. But again, maybe one for the future. Maybe this is going to be one of the ones that you search his name with Wolves next to it in 3 or 4 years' time, and it's one that we regret. There's so many players that you do that. If you type in Talking Wolves and a random player that is doing well, a random young player, there's the likelihood that we've been linked with them previously. Another young player that Wolves apparently went and offered to look at getting in was a PSG forward, Jedi Gassama. Now he can play on the wing or as a striker. He's currently playing for PSG, and their youth system, again, a ridiculously good amount of goals and assists at the UEFA Youth League this season as well. Apparently Wolves had offered to loan him with an option to buy. Apparently their approach was rejected. There was a couple of clubs that were in for him as well. As far as reports go, Gassama said he wanted to stay at PSG, didn't want to move mid-season, and apparently Wolves were looking at this one. Although it came out during deadline day, it was a deal that Wolves were looking at before they'd signed Chiquinho from Estoril earlier on in the transfer window. Now we move on to the Adama Traoré in Barcelona saga. Adama Traoré, obviously he's moving now official. I don't think I've done a video on the transfers since we last spoke about it. But he's moved to Barcelona, is now official. They've got an option to buy in and around €30 million. But it sounds like, especially from reports in Spain, is that Barcelona are planning a future around Adama Traoré, or planning a future with Adama Traoré in it. So at the moment, all lanes suggest that Adama is going to be staying at Barcelona past this summer, and that Wolves will be receiving their €30 million. With the way players have posted on social media as well, it sounds and suggests like that is the case also. I think Adama had actually met up with Barcelona and their representatives over the Christmas period to see what they had to say, and obviously he wanted the move, and that's what he got. Talking about Barcelona, Trincao as well, who's obviously on loan at Wolves at the moment. According to sources in Spain from the Barcelona end at the moment, they're getting the indication that Wolves are not looking to proceed with the purchase of Trincao. Obviously, this could change over the next few months or so if Trincao really knuckles down, starts adding some goals and assists to his game. But at the moment, they're getting the idea that Wolves aren't looking to trigger that option on Trincao. Now we move on to some deadline day deals. Some good deals, to be fair, for loan players out. Ryan Giles has gone out on loan to Blackburn Rovers. At the time of him leaving Cardiff City, he was the top assist maker in the Championship. So this is a really good loan move for him. Blackburn are having a phenomenal season, chasing those automatic promotion spots. So if Giles can get plenty of game time, this is a huge move for him. This move was announced around midnight last night, so just past the deadline, but obviously all the paperwork and so on had gone through for that. Bruno, a player that has obviously been in and around the first team for the last month or so. We saw him come on for a little bit against Sheffield United in the FA Cup. He's completed a loan move to the old faithful Grasshoppers Zurich, more or less our sister club now, so they've got him on loan till the end of the season. I think Bruno Lage and the club just wanted to get him as much competitive minutes as they could. I would have liked to maybe see him back in Portugal again in the top flight, maybe a slightly more competitive level, but you know what, let's get him in there around a couple of players that he's familiar with and see how he gets on. Two goalkeepers have also gone out on loan. Andreas Sondergaard, another player that's been in and around the first team over the last couple of years, been the under-23 goalkeeper, was actually out on loan in the first half of the season to Randers, a top division side over in Denmark. He's come back in January and now he's been loaned out to Hereford. I believe they're in the Conference North or South. And another goalkeeper, Louis Molden, who the club had signed from Manchester City in the summer, once again had been in and around the first team, been pretty much the under-23s goalkeeper throughout the season so far, been on the first team bench for many, many games. He's gone out on loan to Ebbsfleet United. So two loan moves there for both Sondergaard and Louis Molden. And in my opinion, I would have been looking at possibly sort of higher quality or higher level of teams for those two. But Wolves obviously think different to me. They just want them playing competitive football, which is fair enough. So we'll see how those two progress and see how those two get on at that level. Another player that's gone out on, not even gone out on loan, he's left the club permanently now, is Austin Samuels, a player that is a young lad from Wolverhampton who's been at the club for many, many years. He was out on loan at Aberdeen earlier on this season. Had a couple of decent level loans, to be fair. I think he was at Bradford for a little while as well, last season or the season before. At Aberdeen this season, it felt like from the reaction of some of their fans, they felt that maybe he should have been given a little bit more of a chance. I believe his contract was up at the end of the season, but he has now joined Scottish club Inverness Caledonian Thistle on a permanent deal. So all the best to Austin for the future. Another player that's gone out on a permanent deal is Eric Bugarin. He was a young Spanish striker that the club had for a couple of years now. They'd signed him actually when he was 16. Not many people had actually heard of him, but unfortunately he's really struggled with injuries. I think he had a decent-ish potential. Played predominantly for the under-18s, had a couple of handful of appearances for the under-23s as well, but unfortunately injuries have really held him back and he's struggled. And now he's moved to Spanish club Elche. And then another player, somebody that has been in and around the first team, has actually had first team appearances and has actually played a Europa League game for the club. Oscar Bura has now left the club. His contract was mutually terminated and now is a free agent. So Oscar Bura scored a winning goal. Was it a winning goal or an equalising goal against Hull in the Championship under Nuno during that promotion season? It's a real shock when he was in the side and obviously came on and got that goal. I think it was the winning goal, I'm sure it was, and had a really decent performance against Besiktas in the Europa League at Molineux when we beat them 4-0. I'm sure he got one or two of the assists for Diogo Jota's goals as well. So all the best to Oscar for the future. And guys, I think that is pretty much all. The transfer window is shut. Wolves' business is done. Let me know your thoughts on the business in the comment section down below. Plenty of players that we've just sort of rattled off there. I'm sure I've probably missed one or two. I do apologise for that. But some decent loan moves. I think Sanderson and Giles have had step-ups in their loan move. Two teams chasing promotion to the Premier League. It's a good level for them. And yeah, all the best to all those players that have left the club on loan or on a permanent deal as well. As always, guys, be sure to hit the like button down below. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Transfer videos, who knows when they're going to be back. We may not have any now until just after the season. But obviously, stay tuned for the match day coverage. Be sure to hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you're new, guys. And I'll see you all very, very soon.